Hey friends, it's Jen. Welcome to Good God Talks here on YouTube. The whole point of this podcast is to help you build your habit of having uncommon conversations with God in everyday life moments. And I love helping people experience daily life with God because I spent a lot of years as a Christian not even knowing that that was possible. So I'm glad you're here. Make sure you hit all of the buttons to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the channel, and check out all of the links we have for you in the show notes. I have tons of resources all of the time to help you grow in your relationship with God. And let's jump into today's episode. Hey friends, it's Jen. As someone who helps people experience daily life with God, one of the most common questions I receive is, how do I actually live in God's presence all day long? I mean, I have stuff to do. I have errands and work and family that keep me so busy. How can I actually stay aware of God? How can I actually remain in His presence? That's the question that I'm answering in today's episode. And I don't say that like, oh, this is easy. I do this perfectly all the time. I don't. It's something that we all get to continually grow in because God makes Himself available to us. As humans, relationships grow for us in two main ways. We cultivate healthy relationship with each other, human to human, by shared experiences and healthy communication. And that happens with God too. Every moment of our day gets to be a shared experience we have with Him as we learn to stay alert, to notice Him, to see how He is active there, to invite Him in to what we're doing, the things that are requiring our time and energy and attention, and talking with Him about what we're doing and what He's doing as we go about our days. Richard Foster's talking about this a little bit in his book, The Celebration of Discipline, and he's quoting a few other well-trusted voices. He says, the writings of Frank Laubach are filled with this sense of living under the shadow of the Almighty. And he quotes him, of all of today's miracles, the greatest is this, to know that I find thee best when I work listening. Thank thee too, that the habit of constant conversation grows easier each day. I really do believe that all thought can be conversation with thee. Think about that. All thought can be conversation with God. Foster says that Brother Lawrence knew this same reality. Because he experienced the presence of God in the kitchen, he knew he would meet God in the Mass as well. He writes, I cannot imagine how religious persons can live satisfied without the practice of the presence of God. Now, that's what we're doing here on the podcast. Our short episodes leave you with a conversational question to go ask God as a way of practicing the presence. He is here. We can respond to Him believing that, believing it's true that God is here with us, believing He hears us when we talk to Him, and He wants to engage in conversation with us. In 1 John 4, verse 16, it says, so we have come to know and believe the love that God has for us. God is love. Whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. Now, I read that from the ESV, but I want to read part of it again in the NIV. And it says, so we know and rely on the love God has for us. When we're talking about living aware of God's presence, living in His presence as we go about all of the things that we need to handle that are good and right to be on our calendars and our to-do lists, we get to be those who stay in God's presence, who abide there. Everywhere we go, we can stay attentive and alert to Him because we know and believe the love that He has for us, because we know and rely on it. We can live accordingly. We can come with that holy expectancy that here too at my home, here too at the grocery store, here too at my kids' school or at my desk at work, God wants to engage with me. And this is a learning process. Practicing the presence of God doesn't mean we're practicing God's presence. We're practicing staying aware of God's presence because His presence is always there. We're practicing engaging with Him, believing and relying on His truth. Now, This is a learning process, and I was really convicted about how easy it is to fall into old habits when I was reviewing my notes for this episode. Because the question I was going to leave you with today was, God, how can I keep our conversation going all day long? It's not a bad question, but that's not the ideal question either, because that puts the ownership on me, doesn't it? Or on you as you ask God the question, God, how can I keep this going? I don't want to lose sight of you. What can I do? But the reality is God wants to keep the conversation going with you all day long. His ideas are far better than what we could come up with. And it's not about a striving. It's not about trying to maximize the most of every moment. It's about a way of living, believing that God wants to have relationship with us, believing He is always ready to be active and engaged with us in what He's doing and in what we're doing. And so here's the actual question I want to leave with you today. God, how do you want to keep our conversation going all day long? Have a good talk.